economy kept increasing and all this, then they started pumping all the money into the baby boom generation, into their pensions. These pensions were stolen by Wall Street. It's empty. So you watch in the next few years, you're going to hear more and more from the States. Our pensions are empty. But not what else happened was because my age, baby boomers, were pumping so much money into pensions, the stock market blew up. Okay. The stock market blew up. Housing prices blew up. Bond market blew up.
Right.
Now it's all going to come down. That's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong.
Okay. So this has been happening for decades now.
I've been studying it for most of my life.
Okay.
Since I was 10 years old. I said, how come I don't have some of this? How come the school teacher doesn't teach me about this?
Right.
Why does my dad always say, go to school, get a job, work hard, pay taxes, save money?
Right.
Why do that?
True.
And my rich dad says, I don't do that.
So I had an interesting question here, looking at it from the lens of the government.
Your questions are very good, by the way.
Thank you. So there are two schools of thought, right? One way to look at as a person who is running the country is to ensure the maximum happiness of all the individuals, so equitable distribution of wealth. And another way of looking at it is, no, not everybody is equal, winner takes it all. And what we've seen over the last decade is that the income inequality has magnified. I saw an interesting stat that around 50 years back, the top 1% of the world controlled around 6 to 7% of the world's wealth.
Amen.
And today, the top 1% of the world controls around 20 to 25% of the world's wealth. So my question to you is, is that sustainable, or would that, if that income disparity keeps increasing, would the world eventually collapse due to war?
It's always been that way. There's a thing called Pareto's principle. It's called the 80-20 rule.
Right.
So like 80% of the people are poor, 20% are rich.
Right.
There's another rule, I don't know the name, it's a 90-10. In America, 10% of Americans own everything. The reason there's such a gap is our schools teach us to work for this.
Yeah.
Go to school, get a job,
right.
Work hard, pay taxes, save money, buy a house, and put your money in the stock market.
Right.
I don't touch any of that. I'm an entrepreneur. I'd rather be like Mr. Tata,
right,
who owns the stock market.
So you touched upon an important topic, buying a house. And that is a very, very important discussion according to me. And whenever I talk about it, there is always people who disagree with it, right? Because it is so ingrained in our mind that buying a house is the American dream when it comes to US. Yes. And in India, it's like buying a house means finally your life is sorted or life is set. But I differ from that, because I feel like if you prioritize of buying a house which you live in very early on in your life, because in India you can't get married if you don't own your own house, right, because the bride's family will ask for that. Okay, does he own a house? And because of that pressure, young Indian males are buying a house in their mid-20s and getting into 20 to 30-year home loans, which kind of gets them bonded to working 9 to 5 jobs for the next 20-30 years, which they can't take any risk.
You got it.
So I want to ask you, what are your thoughts about buying a home? Because it's very difficult to convince Indians, and I get a lot of lashback when I say that. Don't buy a house, delay that purchase, focus on building assets which pay you more money. But people disagree.
I face the same thing, because I own 15,000 houses.
15,000 houses, okay, which you give it out for rent.
Yeah.
Right.
So nothing wrong with buying a house.
Yeah.
Difference is I use debt to buy it.
Okay.
And I pay no taxes. It's not the house. It's not the stock. It's not the bond. It's not the ETF. It's your brains. So I would rather use debt and pay no taxes.
Can you explain that? How do you buy houses without?
Which is capitalism.
Right.
We use debt and we pay no taxes. That's what I teach.
Can you explain the mechanics of that in simple words for the audience? Like, how do you?
In 1971, this became debt.
Okay.
The only way it's created is somebody has to borrow money. So in your credit card, there's no money in your credit card.
Right.
There's no money anywhere. So the moment you use your credit card, money's created. And the US dollar is dead, the rupee is dead, the